relationship and plenty of money in the bank to take care of your family. That's my prayer for you. We're going to start this year off, speaking of new businesses, talking to the president of Malone Sullivan Public Strategies, LLC. It's a new business. It is a subsidiary of the Carter Malone Group. And Jeff Sullivan is the president, and I am the CEO. And so the president of Malone Sullivan will be our guest in the first half hour of the show. I just want you to know that we're so excited about the M Network and the things that we're going to be doing in 2015. I want to thank our viewers for staying faithful and watching our shows on the M Network. You're going to see great things coming from this network that you're supporting, and we're going to talk more about that in the upcoming week. But right now, I just want to also say that we lost a giant in the entertainment industry, specifically in the sports entertainment industry, with the death of 49-year-old Stuart Scott, African-American sports anchor who everybody knew was with ESPN for 21 years, and he brought hip-hop, urbanism, that language into the sports arena, and we will forever be grateful for his life and his light, and it will continue to shine through new reporters and sports anchors who will take his legacy and build upon it. So the entertainment industry and the news world has lost a giant in Stuart Scott. You're watching Dialogue with Deidre. We'll be back in a moment.
Hello, friends. I'm concerned about the health of our African American community. According to the American Heart Association, our rates of high blood pressure in the U.S. are among the highest in the world. And diabetes, obesity, high cholesterol, physical inactivity, poor nutrition, and smoking are causing us to suffer and die from stroke at alarming rates. In 3 John 2, the Bible says, "Beloved, I pray that you may prosper in all things and be in health, just as your soul prospers." Visit powertoendstroke.org and become empowered to take care of your health. You are the power to end stroke.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it.
While they were doing their thing, we slowly changed our own.
Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
Wow, Teller Brown is your drugstore, and your drugstore. Hey, we everyone's drugstore. And we're located at 3333 East Chevy Drive, 794-3690. All medical plans. We support supported living, assisted living. We do it all. And guess what? We even have a $4 plan. Hey, call to ask Dr. Brown about that. I gotta go because she's coming with those boots.
When When was the last time you visited a school cafeteria? Come and meet the staff and taste for yourself how school meals have changed. School meals are well balanced and meet federal nutrition standards. Every school lunch provides fat-free milk, whole grains, and more fruits and vegetables, including vitamin-rich dark greens. Many schools are serving locally grown foods and chef-inspired recipes that get kids excited about healthy choices. Brought to you by the School Nutrition Association.
The Carter Malone Group is a full-service public relations agency. Celebrating 10 years of being in business, the Carter Malone Group is located in Midtown Memphis and represents clients across the country. No matter what size your business, if you are interested in promoting your product or service and increasing your market share, contact the firm that can help you meet your goals. The Carter Malone Group. Call 901-278-0881 today.
And now, let's take some questions from the public.
Mr. Chairman, why do we keep cutting back on education?
Governor, you want to take that question?
Mr. Chairman, let's give this one to the Senate Majority Leader.
Since this matter was taken up in AB 3712, I think it best if I defer to the Assembly Majority Leader.
Actually, pursuant to Department of Education statutes, the State Secretary of Education would be more qualified to answer. Mr. Secretary.
My legal team has advised me not to comment at this time, so I'll humbly refer to our State Superintendent of Schools.
Pass. Definitely pass. Okay, County Superintendent.
Well, young lady, it's just too complicated.
Can you tell me who's responsible for my education?
That is a good question. Governor?
Repeat the question, please.
I don't see why I can't get an answer from
You're asking a lot of difficult questions.
Well, she sure is.
Who are you?
Well, I'm the governor.
What is this?
Your 2 minutes are up.
Stop the circus. Contact your legislators at thisbudgetblows.com.
Welcome back to Dialogue with Deidre. I'm your host, Deidre Malone. 2015 is a great year for business. I'd like to believe so. I decided with my partner to start a new business, and it's called Malone Sullivan Public Strategies. And the president of Malone Sullivan Public Strategies, LLC, Jeff Sullivan, is in the studio. Welcome to Dialogue with Deidre.
Well, thank you, Deidre. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah. What do you think about our new business? Excited about the opportunity?
I'm so excited about the opportunity. When I helped you on your county mayor's race, you and I had kind of in passing a few discussions about, we'd be really good together if we started a business and because of our different backgrounds and different campaigns that we've both been on, and with your successful business that you already have, it just seemed like a perfect fit. And then we ran into each other at Sarah Kyle's house, Senator Sarah Kyle's house, after Thanksgiving, and you said, give me a call, and boy, I gave you a call the next day, and here we are.
And it's amazing, Jeff, that because our backgrounds are similar yet different, and we complement each other, I think that we have an opportunity to be a force in Tennessee when it comes to government relations, when it comes to campaign management, when it comes to various public affairs issues.
Right.
Just based on our experiences alone, I mean, we have an opportunity, an incredible opportunity. And, you know, I'm just blown away at the fact that we've been in business. We got our business license maybe about a week ago. How many clients do we have?
We have 5 already.
We're not going to talk about who they are. But we're going to talk. We're going to say that we already have 5 clients.
It's just been unbelievable. The vibe, the people are talking about us. I mean, I'm running into people that I know I didn't tell. I know you didn't say anything to, that are congratulating me. Hey, I heard about your new business, and it's people are starting to call us.
Exactly.
You know, to ask us, what we can do to help them. So it's great.
Let me ask you, let's talk about your experience.
Sure.
I mean, you've been around the political scene a long time.
Long time.
Tell our viewers a little bit about your background.
Oh, God. I tell you, it goes back, the first time I got paid to help in a campaign was in 1987. Bill Gibbons was on the city council and decided to run for mayor of Memphis against Dick Hackett. And John Ryder and Hardy Mays were running his campaign, came to me and said he needs a Democrat on his staff.
Okay.
And they came to me and asked me if I would help him run the campaign, and I said absolutely. Be my first opportunity to be paid instead of volunteering like you normally. That's how you come up. You volunteer and you do the grunt work for a long time until you finally have someone offer to give you some money to be in a campaign. So I did that, and I tell you, Hardy Mays and John Ryder, smart guys. Gibbons, just a great guy. It was a great campaign to work on. Of course, got beat.
Right. But
Hackett beat him, but it was a great experience. And then it just kind of went from there. You sort of make a name for yourself, and then you just kind of keep going. And then one of the best experiences, I worked on a lot of campaigns, but Jim Kyle, Senator Kyle, took a chance on me and asked me to come to Nashville and help him do some of his legislative work. You couldn't learn from a smarter guy.
He's phenomenal.
He's unbelievable. He's 4 steps ahead of everyone else in Nashville, or he was. Now he's Chancellor Kyle. But
his replacement is a sharp cookie.
His replacement is his wife, Sarah, and she's
her own woman too.
You talk about connections statewide.
Exactly.
She's got a lot of that. But it was great experience under Jim, learning the ropes in Nashville. Couldn't learn from a better guy and a nicer guy, and really enjoyed that. And then again, just back in the running campaigns, and but those are the 2 big sort of benchmarks in my political career. Would have been helping Gibbons and working for Jim Kyle, and another one would have been I got a call from a guy named Bill Oldham 4 years ago. And he had been turned down by 2 political operatives here in Memphis, and they told him he didn't have a chance to win the sheriff's race. And his brother, Terry Oldham, firefighter, who I'd known through doing some work with the firefighters, said, give Jeff a call. And I told him I thought he could win, and we put together a plan. And we won that race 4 years ago.
And I mean, in a majority Democratic county.
Absolutely.
Nobody really knew Bill because Bill was, kind of rank and file police officer, kind of came up the ranks.
He did.
And then moved over from MPD to the Sheriff's Department.
Correct.
I believe he was
under
Luttrell's
number 2. He was Luttrell's number 2 guy. He was the chief deputy.
Unlike
really
Luttrell,
under the radar. Yeah.
Who didn't really he had a corrections background, not pure law enforcement.
Right.
I mean, Sheriff Odom.
He's kicked in doors.
Exactly.
He's arrested people. And that's why he has the guys have a lot of respect for him in the sheriff's department, because he's been in their shoes. And so the guys in the department have a lot of respect for him. So he's a lot different than Luttrell.
Well, I think what's interesting about your political background is we're similar. I mean, Bill Gibbons was a client of my firm. You're a Democrat. I'm a Democrat.
Right.
We've worked with Republicans. It's business.
Yeah. The 2 Republican races I've run, I've won.
Exactly. And Bill, when we helped with Bill Gibbons' campaign, specifically targeting, the African American community, his numbers were phenomenal.
Yeah.
And he won. He was the district attorney running for re-election. And then, of course, when the state legislature redrew the districts and, really forced Jim Kyle, Senator Kyle at the time, he and another Democrat to run against each other. Senator Kyle at the time asked my firm to assist him with that race, and he was successful.
Absolutely.
So we have that in common.
We do. We have a lot in common, and we've known each other a long time. You've been friends with my wife a long time.
Exactly. She's a strong Democrat. We don't want to talk about that because of her position, but she's a strong Democrat.
She certainly is.
She came up in a family of strong Democrats. I worked with her dad back in the day in radio. Dave Black.
One of the first rock and roll DJs in America. And her mom, Kay Pittman Black, a political columnist for the Memphis Press Scimitar.
Exactly.
And very well respected, a lady who, you mentioned her name today or in the media, and people still know who she is.
They know her and they know Dave.
Dave, sure.
When I started out in radio here in Memphis, Dave and I worked together at WMC 790 News Talk.
Right.
And so at that point, I didn't know Mara.
Right.
And so, Mara is a strong woman in her own right. I mean, she's on the state executive committee for the Democratic Party, I believe.
She just came off.
She just came off?
She was for 4 years.
For years.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
And deputy CAO for the city of Memphis.
She is. She's
very impressive.
It's pretty cool having a wife that is wheels a big stick around City Hall.
That's an important stick to be able to wheel.
It is.
So we're talking to Jeff Sullivan. He's the president of Malone Sullivan Public Strategies, LLC, here in Memphis. And we'll continue that dialogue when we come back.
Hello, friends. I'm concerned about the health of our African American community. According to the American Heart Association, our rates of high blood pressure in the U.S. are among the highest in the world. And diabetes, obesity, high cholesterol, physical inactivity, poor nutrition, and smoking are causing us to suffer and die from stroke at alarming rates. In 3 John 2, the Bible says, "Beloved, I pray that you may prosper in all things and be in health, just as your soul prospers." Visit powertoendstroke.org and become empowered to take care of your health. You are the power to end stroke.
Wow, Teller Brown is your drugstore, and your drugstore. Hey, we everyone's drugstore. And we're located at 3333 East Chevy Drive, 794-3690. All medical plans. We support supported living, assisted living. We do it all. And guess what? We even have a $4 plan. Hey, call to ask Dr. Brown about that. I gotta go because she's coming with those boots.
When was the last time you visited a school cafeteria? Come and meet the staff and taste for yourself how school meals have changed. School meals are well balanced and meet federal nutrition standards. Every school lunch provides fat-free milk, whole grains, and more fruits and vegetables, including vitamin-rich dark greens. Many schools are serving locally grown foods and chef-inspired recipes that get kids excited about healthy choices. Brought to you by the School Nutrition Association.
I'm Dominique Dawes. How do you start your day? I always start with a healthy breakfast. Whether you're practicing for a game or studying for a test, eating breakfast every day can improve your concentration and help you perform your best. Kids who eat a healthy breakfast have more energy to work hard and play hard. That's why you should check out your school's breakfast program. It's for everyone, so make sure you energize your day. Eat school breakfast.
The Carter Malone Group is a full-service public relations agency. Celebrating 10 years of being in business, the Carter Malone Group is located in Midtown Memphis and represents clients across the country. No matter what size your business, if you are interested in promoting your product or service and increasing your market share, contact the firm that can help you meet your goals. The Carter Malone Group. Call 901-278-0881 today.
And now, let's take some questions from the public.
Mr. Chairman, why do we keep cutting back on education?
Governor, you want to take that question?
Mr. Chairman, let's give this one to the Senate Majority Leader.
Since this matter was taken up in AB 3712, I think it best if I defer to the Assembly Majority Leader.
Actually, pursuant to Department of Education statutes, the State Secretary of Education would be more qualified to answer. Mr. Secretary.
My legal team has advised me not to comment at this time, so I'll humbly refer to our State Superintendent of Schools.
Pass. Definitely pass. Okay, County Superintendent.
Well, young lady, it's just too complicated.
Can you tell me who's responsible for my education?
That is a good question. Governor?
Repeat the question, please.
I don't see why I can't get an answer from
You're asking a lot of difficult questions.
Oh, she sure is.
Who are you?
Well, I'm the governor.
What is this?
Your 2 minutes are up.
Stop the circus. Contact your legislators at thisbudgetblows.com.
Back to Dialogue with Deidre. I'm your host, Deidre Malone. Jeff Sullivan, the president of Malone Sullivan Public Strategies, is my guest in the studio today. But I forgot to mention that if you have any questions or comments about our show, Dialogue with Deidre, please post them on the Dialogue with Deidre Facebook page. If you have any suggestions for upcoming shows, post that there as well or inbox me. Or if you want to email me directly, you can do that at deidre@deidremalone.com. We look forward to hearing your comments. Help us make 2015 the best that we can make it. Jeff,
yes. Again,
welcome for being on the show.
Oh, I'm glad to be here.
So we're not gonna touch the elections, the city elections this year.
Okay.
2015. We can deal with that a little bit later.
Sure.
Let's talk about what's going to go on in Washington, D.C. this year. You know, President Obama has 2 years left on his term.
2 years left.
He's dealing with major Republican Senate, major Republican House. Do you think the Democrats are going to be able to be effective? I read somewhere, I don't know if it was in the Commercial Appeal or the Washington Post this morning, that the Tea Partiers are getting organized. I guess they're trying to figure out what type of leadership positions they can try and get in the upcoming session.
Yeah, I think that the Tea Party, I'm just not sure how much traction they're going to be able to pick up as far as getting key leadership roles in the House or in the Senate. The Republican establishment really seems to be able to sort of control that mostly, but elections, more Tea Partiers are winning every year. So you never know what could happen with it. I think the Tea Party is so out of touch with the masses that I think it's going to be real hard for them to pick up a whole lot of steam. I think they may have topped out. I don't see them really winning a whole lot more seats, but you never know. You never know.
Well, I can tell you that I'm so proud of our president. Last year before last, the Affordable Care Act.
Yeah.
Last year, 2014, immigration reform. Those are things that he's talked about since he's been in office, and he's been able to achieve those things. Now, you keep hearing that this new Congress wants to, repeal the Affordable Care Act.
Sure.
I don't like to use the term Obamacare because I know when they created that term, they meant it to be derogatory,
sure.
right? So
Absolutely.
I try and say the Affordable Care Act, sure. even though it's longer. But they, they're wanting to see what they can do.
Yeah.
I wonder if they realize the impact that it will have if they try and do that on their constituents, because there's so many people, those that need it. And it's not just, folk of lower economic status. It's middle-class people need it.
Sure.
I mean, they need to be able to have access to insurance. And what do you think? Do you think they're going to be successful?
Well, how many times have they tried to repeal it already? Exactly. 50, 60 times?
Yes.
I mean, I did a little study last year on how much time and money and effort they actually, how much time they wasted, taxpayers' time they wasted on trying to repeal it, knowing that it would not be repealed or get the votes in the Senate. The House spent crazy amount of time and money on a futile effort, and they knew it was just not gonna happen. Things may have changed. They may have the votes now to repeal it, but it's like saying, I'm against something just to be against it. Well, what are you for?
Right.
Yeah, if you're going to be against something, then you got to be for something also.
What are you going to put on the table?
What are you going to put on the table? You want to repeal it, fine. But what are you going to replace it with? And I think you're correct. I think they don't realize how they will be hurting their own constituents. And to be honest with you, I don't think I think they're thinking about getting reelected, and this gets them votes, and it keeps them in step in line with their leaders in Washington. So I think they're going to give it a shot again. If it happens, it happens, and we'll have to see what the president and his administration can come up with.
Well, I know we said we weren't going to mention anything local, but I do have to mention and commend Governor Haslam.
Yes.
For at least advancing a plan that will help those individuals here in Tennessee.
Right.
It's not the, advanced, plan that the federal government submitted. It's a hybrid of it.
Right.
And let's see what the legislature does with it.
He could have done this 3 years ago.
Exactly.
Why now?
And billions of dollars. I mean, we've lost millions of dollars in subsidies that could have benefited Tennesseans who need health care.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen. And so here we go.
But he did. You're right. He finally came to the table and did something he should have done at least 3 years ago, which is commendable. I'm glad he did finally step up to the plate.
Me too. And so what do you think about 2016 in terms of presidential candidates?
Yeah, I think you're going to have two very strong women, two strong Democrats who are going to run. You've got Hillary Clinton, who's probably going to be out there.
You can just dust off the book.
I know. I see your face right here on top of the cup. And then
you think Elizabeth Warren?
Elizabeth Warren is going to be a strong contender, I believe. I don't see any strong Republicans, to be honest with you, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a Democrat, but I mean, really, the governor of Louisiana, that's the best you can do?
Now, I heard that I was watching, it might have been Fox, don't shoot me, but I was watching Fox because I got to know what the other side's doing.
I turn
you
it
got
on
to be informed.
to see what they're up to, absolutely.
And the former governor of Arkansas, Huckabee, who's had a show on Fox.
He quit his show.
Quit his show.
Think
he's going to explore?
I think he's definitely going to. I think he's going to run. I think he's going to be able to raise some money. I hear Jeb Bush. Is seriously considering.
How many Bushes can occupy that White House? I tell you.
He'll be a
I think
contender.
He'll be formidable. I think he will be formidable
because he'll have a lot of money.
And out of the two Bush sons that have been in politics, there's another son. I think he's a banker, an investment banker.
Right.
But Jeb was always viewed as the smart one.
Yes.
And Hispanic wife.
Sure.
So major crossover appeal.
Major crossover.
Specifically to the largest minority group in this country.
Right.
So that's going to be interesting. And who else? You think Romney will get in the race?
I think. I think he's had enough.
You think so?
I think so.
Sometimes people will puff your head up and make you,
Egos will get you in trouble.
It will get you in trouble.
And I certainly think he has an ego, but I don't think I don't think he can stomach another primary. They're so brutal.
They're brutal.
The Republicans are just going to be brutal. I don't think he wants to stomach that. I think he's just going to kind of watch the other guys beat up on each other, and then hope that he gets an appointment with the administration. He'll pick somebody when there's a clear sort of winner or a clear person that's probably has the best chance of winning. I think he'll jump on board with that candidate and maybe a vice presidential.
He'd be a good person on your ticket.
He'd be a good person on your ticket for a VP, but I don't think he wants to get out there.
What's the Tea Party senator whose dad, Paul?
Rand Paul's
son. What's his?
Yeah, out of Kentucky.
Yeah.
I don't understand how this guy stays.
We know his dad's name. I don't remember his first name.
I don't understand how this guy stays newsworthy. Every week there's something. Every other day there's something about him in the news. He obviously is not the sharpest tool in the shed. He constantly makes mistakes. In his career, he's made a lot of mistakes. So, I don't know. Yeah, I think he'll run. I think he has to. I think, again, ego.
Do you think
ego makes him?
You think Democrats have a real shot at it this time? You think that
we're cyclical.
We are.
8 years, and people want to change. I think the Republicans probably have a better shot than the Democrats do, regardless of who runs. And that's just an honest political analysis of how that works. I think a Republican probably has, but they've got to have the right one.
I think Hillary Clinton's a strong candidate. I think Elizabeth Warren's strong.
Yeah.
I just think that after reading the book where they talked about the various campaigns, I can't even think of the name of it now, but Hillary's going to have to get a handle on the former president, Bill.
Yes, right.
He can't explode, can't go out off the reservation, and her campaign will have to be a lot tighter than it was,
Absolutely.
7 years ago.
Right.
So.
Well, Bill still, I tell you, he's still exciting.
He's a rock star.
He is a rock star. He was in, West Memphis a couple of months ago, and everybody from Memphis, we were all fighting over tickets, and we were
trying to get him to Memphis.
We were trying to get him over here. I know. He's a rock star. I've met him twice, and anyone out there that has ever met him, the one thing you always remember is his handshake. He sucks you right in. He's got this big hand, and he shakes, and he just looks right at you. And
like you're the only person in the room.
Yeah, he looks right through you, and you never forget that.
I met him at Temple of Deliverance Church. here in Memphis. Former Congressman Harold Ford Jr. had him down, and so Democrats were coming in, and the gripping photograph.
Yeah, sure.
And poor Harold. It was like Harold wasn't even there. I remember Harold's right here, and President Clinton's right there, and I have my cell phone in my hand, and I'm like this, looking at Bill.
Right.
Poor Harold. It was like he wasn't even in the room.
Right.
But he was a great president.
Great president. Al Gore was a great vice president.
My
I miss Al. I wish he were around more. I had a funny story. We were, and my wife and I were invited to Harold Jr.'s house when he was still living here down on the river. And he invited us over for breakfast. So he was having a few friends over, and we went, and Tipper and Al. When it's only about 10 of us, and Al kind of disappeared, and I went in the kitchen. It was they had this bacon that had like brown. It was baked with brown sugar on it.
Yeah.
It was really good. So I'm in there, and there's Al in there just eating off. So I go over. I said, that looks pretty good. So we're in the kitchen having this great conversation, eating bacon, off the plate in the kitchen. And Tipper comes in, and she's like, and then my wife comes in with her, and they're like, can't you guys get a plate?
Right.
You're eating off the plate. And we're like, no, man. I said, if the vice president can do it, I think it's okay for me to do it too.
Let me
great
just say,
folks.
I was a delegate for the convention for Al. And just all excited, we wanted him to win. And when the whole election went down, and they were counting the chards and
the chads,
yep.
the hanging chads,
the hanging chads. Thanks,
right.
Jeff. That's right, the hanging chads in Florida. I remember sending a fax to him, saying, "Please continue to fight."
Right.
I wanted him to fight so hard, and it just broke my heart.
Yep.
When he decided to just, suspend the litigation. And
in the long run, I think it was the right thing. He wanted the country to come together. Didn't want us to look weak,
right,
to the rest of the world. And so I think in the long run, he did the right thing. Another funny story. It was
tough, though.
While that was going on, one of Memphis's most famous political writers, Terry Keeter.
I remember Terry.
Terry, when that was all right after that happened, Terry Keeter, I saw him at a Christmas party, and he gave me a gift, and it was a stocking, Christmas stocking hang, and it said Chad on it, and he had filled it full of little tiny pieces of paper, like hole punch paper, and he gave me that for Christmas one year. So Terry had quite a sense of humor.
Well, yeah, and he's greatly missed.
He is.
Yeah.
I really miss him. He was
an excellent political reporter.
Right.
I think, Bill, I have to say, that's my background. I used to be a reporter.
Yeah.
And when I covered City Hall, Dick Hackett was the mayor.
Right.
So Bill Dreves and I were radio
Love
reporters
Bill.
at the time. And
he's one of my good friends.
He's a great guy.
Oh,
and
love him.
I remember
he and Jackson Baker.
Jackson's awesome.
Great guys.
You just have to, get Jackson sometimes to fact check. I say that lovingly. But Bill and I were sitting there, and we were talking to former Mayor Hackett, and I remember him saying, "Bill Dreves is the best reporter." I'm like, am I chopped liver? What's going wrong? Really?
Yeah.
And he said, "Okay, you are okay, Deidre."
Oh, you're
but he's good. I'm like, okay. So, but he is a great political reporter.
He is. I remember that's when I first met him, was on the Bill Gibbons campaign. He was covering that, and he was with WHBQ Radio, and I think it was WHBQ Radio, and he would,
it was WREC.
WREC. He had one of those little tape recorders you could buy at Sears, a cassette tape recorder, and he had it slung around his shoulder, had with that little microphone that came with it, and he would be in there asking questions, interviewing people.
Wendy Thomas, although she's not with Commercial Appeal any longer, I think she's with the Memphis Flyer. Yeah. Her commentary, her columns were just on point.
Right.
On a lot of political issues. Kyle Veazey, he lives on my block.
Yeah, good guy.
He's all right.
I see him around.
We're going to invite him on. We've invited him to dialogue with Deidre. Some of the articles he wrote during my campaign I thought were questionable. But,
right.
we're going to teach him how to fact check something.
Right.
But he's a good guy. He's my neighbor. I told him
Sure.
my boys wouldn't come and bomb his house.
Oh, good.
So,
All right. You're not going to roll his house Halloween? Okay.
No,
All right.
and my boys are grown, but I do have a grandson, so we'll try and make sure he doesn't.
Well, Jack, my son, he's 11, and he and his buddies in the neighborhood are always looking for a new place to roll. So maybe Halloween we can take him over.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
So
I'm just kidding, Kyle.
Just kidding.
I'm not going to roll. We're not going to roll your house.
We like you most days. But we've had some really talented political reporters.
Yeah.
I mean, Susie Thorpe back in the day.
And
she
again,
was tough as nails.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, to go back to my wife's mom, Kay Pittman Black.
She was awesome.
Boy, I tell you, you see her in documentaries about the King assassination. She was on. She had to be ferried into the riots. It was getting kind of real sketchy and rough down there one night. The night after the assassination, I believe, and she had to be she and her photographer were rushed into an office, or I forget a building downtown to get out of the way of riot police. Yeah. And it was an African American minister, I believe, who grabbed them and said, "I need to get you guys out of the way." And she was just. You need to have my wife on. She's got some of the best stories ever about those things. I can't remember all of them, but she really made a name for herself. A lot of different. Met President Johnson. She did a series of articles on these puppy mills years ago, and just a lot of things. So we've had a lot of strong journalists in this community.
In this community, we come back. We're going to continue our discussion right here on Dialogue with Deidre. Jeff Sullivan is my guest today. We're going to talk about, the new year, and we'll see if he has a New Year's resolution. When we come back, you're watching Dialogue with Deidre.
Hello, friends. I'm concerned about the health of our African American community. According to the American Heart Association, our rates of high blood pressure in the U.S. are among the highest in the world. And diabetes, obesity, high cholesterol, physical inactivity, poor nutrition, and smoking are causing us to suffer and die from stroke at alarming rates. In 3 John 2, the Bible says, "Beloved, I pray that you may prosper in all things and be in health, just as your soul prospers." Visit powertoendstroke.org and become empowered to take care of your health. You are the power to end stroke.
Wow, Teller Brown is your drugstore, and your drugstore. Hey, we everyone's drugstore. And we're located at 3333 East Chevy Drive, 794-3690. All medical plans. We support supported living, assisted living. We do it all. And guess what? We even have a $4 plan. Hey, call to ask Dr. Brown about that. I gotta go because she's coming with those boots.
When was the last time you visited a school cafeteria? Come and meet the staff and taste for yourself how school meals have changed. School meals are well balanced and meet federal nutrition standards. Every school lunch provides fat-free milk, whole grains, and more fruits and vegetables, including vitamin-rich dark greens. Many schools are serving locally grown foods and chef-inspired recipes that get kids excited about healthy choices. Brought to you by the School Nutrition Association.
I'm Dominique Dawes. How do you start your day? I always start with a healthy breakfast. Whether you're practicing for a game or studying for a test, eating breakfast every day can improve your concentration and help you perform your best. Kids who eat a healthy breakfast have more energy to work hard and play hard. That's why you should check out your school's breakfast program. It's for everyone, so make sure you energize your day. Eat school breakfast.
The Carter Malone Group is a full-service public relations agency. Celebrating 10 years of being in business, the Carter Malone Group is located in Midtown Memphis and represents clients across the country. No matter what size your business, if you are interested in promoting your product or service and increasing your market share, contact the firm that can help you meet your goals. The Carter Malone Group. Call 901-278-0881 today.